You're listening to the groundbreaking community stream. Hi, this is Q live and direct from Delhi. Welcome to the episode 18. I hope you're having a good time and taking care of your health. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time, consider subscribing. I've also made some changes on the website in case if you have any feedback, you can shoot me a mail mentioned in the podcast description. For this episode, we have Mohamed Basil, aka Bacosil, who is a self taught 3D artist, works around design and art direction. He's been creating visuals every day for almost 2.5 years and still going on. Let's get on to what Basil has to say. What's up, Basil? How's it going, man? Yeah, you can maybe, start with
Yeah.
giving a quick introduction about you.
Yeah. My name is Basil. I go by the name of Bacosil throughout all my social media platforms. Primarily, I have been like posting on Instagram mostly, like doing every days. And Yeah, that's where I started. I'm a self-taught designer. I haven't been to any design school, so I have a degree in engineering actually. So yeah, that's about me.
Yeah. How's it going with you, man? It's like the middle of the day we are having this conversation, and it's a Tuesday. How's it going for you?
Yeah, it's going great actually. Right now I'm working on an animation piece. Like mostly it's like researching and developing new things, developing new ideas for me every day. So less client projects and more personal projects for me.
Awesome. I mean, tell us a
Yeah.
bit about your schooling and your initial
Mm.
education, the way you were moving.
Yeah. Yeah. I was born in UAE in Sharjah, and yeah, I did my primary schooling there till my fifth standard. Yeah, till my fifth standard, I was basically in Sharjah, and then I moved to India from my sixth standard almost. We came to India and basically has have been in India for from that time onwards. We have been in India, and yeah, the first time, like how I got into design was like in my eighth standard actually. I was into like editing images for my friends, basically like color correcting and making them look good like that. That was the time when Facebook was pretty big in our age group, and like everyone was like flexing their editing skills, making their images look super sharp and everything. And like that's how I got into designing, basically Photoshop in my eighth grade. And yeah, I had a Facebook page at that time. I got to like 1,000 likes. It was like a big deal for me at that time. Yeah, so from my 8 to 10 standard, it was like basically Photoshop things, and that's how I got into design. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
through this journey, as you mentioned, maybe the social media was there for you to kind of inspire you to create, do color grading and create something for your friends. Was it the only thing which was inspiring you to do design, or maybe something else?
Mm, I think there was also an aspect of like getting a certain kind of recognition in your school as well. Like being a good designer, and I would say I was successful in that. Like I got to be known as the designer, so the guy who makes images look cool. So yeah, it worked out. That
Yeah.
also was a motivation.
Yeah, must have been a nice validation, in school. It's
Yeah,
you definitely need something to push you to be that hero kind of a personality. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, man. Yeah, I can definitely. So I mean, when you realized that okay, you were maybe good at it, or you were maybe getting that validation, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? What was going in your head? Didn't you think about maybe pursuing design for education? And why did you choose engineering in that case?
Mm. Yeah, so at that time, I didn't think much of it actually. Like the only thing I saw was like maybe if I go get really good at my skill, I maybe design movie posters. Like that's the knowledge I had. So I really didn't want to like sit there and make movie posters. So it wasn't like something that interested me a lot. So I didn't think much about it. It was mostly like, like I get some popularity points right now. Let's take it and like do something else as a profession later on. So yeah, and engineering I basically did for my parents, like Indian parents, right? Like engineering or yeah. So I did engineering and like I told them like this, I probably don't want to do engineering and I will not work as an engineer, but I will take an engineering degree first. So that was like a condition my dad had. Like you take an engineering degree and like do whatever you want. And right now I'm at that stage doing whatever I want, and he's pretty good with that. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like yeah, they just want us to be safe. So yeah, I understand the thought process as well.
Yeah, you sometimes have to give something to your parents, right, in order to get what you want.
Yeah.
So were you also
Hmm.
creating when you were studying engineering?
Yeah, like yeah, that's the second part of the story. Like when I was in my second year, like I asked my dad for a camera, and he gently like pushed away that issue. So I was like, okay, he's not gonna buy me a camera, so I probably should like save up my money. And like I was like, okay, I did some photoshopping before, right? So let me go through these websites, freelance Upwork, see see what I can do. So I went through those sites and like so logo designing and poster designing, and I was like, okay, I could make money with this, and joined a bunch of competitions. Only one, two, but like I submitted on most of them. But and like in that pursuit, I was like, I came across the future. And that was a turning point because like after seeing the future, I understood like there were designers making a lot of money, doing a lot of fun work. And I was like, okay, that's interesting because now that interests me. Like before it was like, okay, movie posters is the highest peak I could reach. And that wasn't interesting to me. But after seeing the future and like where it could reach, that was super interesting to me. So and yeah, then it was like, okay, I need to get good at what I'm doing right now. I just dropped freelancer and everything, and yeah, that's that's how I got into design and like decided, found out Behance and saw like amazing work and like understood where I am and like the gap between the good designers and not so good designers. So yeah, and it's a fun thing. Like Christo follows me right now, so it's came a whole circle right now. Like I started because of him, and like he follows me right now. That was pretty amazing.
Wow, that I mean that's a great milestone, right? I mean, you started
Yeah,
listening to Chris Doe and the future, and here you are. So congrats for that, man. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, definitely Chris Doe is one hell of a person who always kind of pushing the
Mm,
scene. Yeah, I mean, I've also learned
mm,
a lot from him, man. I mean, like a lot of the times when I don't have when I'm maybe lack of motivation and maybe looking for something, I just dig go to the future and dig videos. Definitely inspiring, man.
yeah.
So you
Yeah,
you
like no one puts content like he does, like the type of content he does, like no one else does that. So yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
the amount of value his content has is just amazing. You managed to
Mm.
you managed to talk to him in this process.
No, no, actually, like we have like DM'd a bit, like that's it. Like I don't want to be like asking a lot of questions and like
Yeah.
make him unfollow me. So I like keeping it chill.
Yeah, make sense, makes
Yeah.
sense, man. But yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be one stage where you'll get a chance to even work with him. So yeah, I mean,
Mm.
just keep at it, of course. So I mean,
Mhm.
I can see that you had you had some idea about what design is about, or maybe initially you were just creating without even thinking about where it's going. I interview whenever I talk to people who and try to know about how they learned about designing. They have some or a little idea about that, and most of them get a chance to study design. So what was the mindset you were keeping when you were maybe starting out with creating design every days? What were the mindset, and also where you were constantly upskilling yourself, as I can see your initial posts, which are basically typography related, and it's more 2D oriented. So how you were also giving yourself those milestones to upskill yourself?
Yeah, so the everyday started from like a bad thing actually. Like I got a client project, and at that time I was like making logos and like identity stuff basically. And I got a client. It was for like a poster design. I hadn't done any posters till that time, and like yeah, and I took the project, and it didn't go well. It went very bad, and yeah, like and at that time I was like kind of depressed, like because when you take a project and you say I will do it and you can't do it, like it's a depressing place to be. So I was like talking to myself and okay, you were bad at designing posters. So now what could you do? I was like, I could design a poster every day. I was like, okay, then do it. Like I was like that was my thought process. Like this should never happen to me again. Like someone comes with a for a poster, I should be able to give it to them. And yeah, that's why I started every days actually to get good with my poster design skill. And after that, like I did sneaker stuff, like one sneaker, 5 iterations. The reason why I did that was like the client had asked me for a poster with the same detail but different iterations, and I couldn't do that as well. So I was like, okay, I will take one thing and like design 5 iterations of it every day for like at that time I wasn't like thinking what it would go for one year. I was thinking like, okay, after 1 month I will like finish like all my ideas will dry up and like I will stop. And thankfully that didn't happen. So it's still rolling. Like once you get that momentum going, like you can like direct it into any direction. Like it could be graphic design, it could be 3D. Like once you get the momentum,
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
yeah, that's really inspiring, man. Uh, how are you getting clients back then when you were not maybe not creating every day? How are you getting them?
Mhm. Yeah, I wasn't getting much clients. Like, still, I'm still in college right now. Like at that time, I was still in college. Like money wasn't a big concern for me. So yeah, I was like if I get money, I will buy a laptop to do all the 3D stuff. And like only after, I would say like designing the sneaker poster, and I was like more than halfway into it. Like I started to get some clients like maybe 2 or 3 clients for sneaker stuff. Like because I had a bunch of sneaker stuff and like everyone saw me like as the sneaker guy. And yeah, like only a few clients. Yeah, very few clients
And I
that time.
were you into sneakers as well?
Hmm. At that time, I wasn't super into sneakers. The reason why I took sneakers was like you could try a lot of visual styles with it. Like there's sneakers that are like super calm or super weird. Like there's a lot of different styles you can like experiment with the product sneakers. And that's the reason why I took sneakers. Like I didn't see any other product I could like easily find images for. And yeah, things like that. It was the most convenient option, sneakers.
Yeah.
That's the reason I go went for that.
I mean, I can definitely, see your work and see that you, of course, started with making 2Ds, typography, working around, collage kind of a thing. When did you realize
Mhm.
that maybe this is the time you should move to 3D, or maybe some project you've got, like the story you told us?
Yeah, so like when scrolling through Behance, I was like seeing this amazing designers doing awesome 3D work. Like in my mind, it was like 3D is the final thing I want to learn because possible. Like it's not like with Photoshop, like you are limited with layers or anything. And that's the reason why I wanted to learn 3D. And also another factor was like my thinking was like the barrier of entry to 3D is much higher. So the people who will be good at that will be much lower than like Photoshop, let's say, because like Photoshop could run on a pretty decent system, but like that's not the case with 3D softwares, right? Like the barrier of entry is a bit more higher, and after learning that, like you would be uh, lesser competition, let's say, like. And yeah, that was my thought process, and like still to this day, that is my thought process. Like if something is difficult to do, then I should do it because that will make me like some of the few people who figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense, man. And uh you know when or maybe when did you realize that, okay, maybe this is going really nice. I've been making daily artwork for 6 months or 7 months. I mean, at this stage, you were also thinking of stopping, or maybe what were you constantly fueling you that, okay, maybe this is a time where I should take a break, because I'm sure it can be, creating something daily and posting it on social media can be definitely tiring. I tried doing it. I could only do it for 100 days, which was, again, on a personal level, was a good thing for me, a lot of learning. So I'm sure at one stage you
Mhm.
must have felt the same.
I actually didn't feel that because like I was seeing like let's say if it was like a window of 6 months, I could see the a design I did in month one and I could see a design I did with month six. I like the difference was like very big. So for me it was like okay, it is working, and if I can like keep doing this thing, probably like 6 months from now, it will look way better than what it is today. So that's my mindset. Like it is going to work for me, and I have to put in the time and effort. Like yeah, it's going to be worth it. I know that it is going to be worth it, and that's what is pushing it basically.
Yeah, makes so much sense, and you definitely made it sound very simple at the same time. uh, so I mean, throughout this time of you creating and posting daily, how are you also managing to maybe get clients, or maybe that is not something which you're thinking about at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not thinking much about that actually. Like for me, it's like the first thing is like you should be really great at what you're doing, and the clients will come. Like if you are really great at what you're doing, and like your work is out there and people can find you, work will come. Like that's my idea. So I don't worry about clients. Like they will come. Like for me, like they don't like I'm not like constantly bombarded with really great clients, and for me, like I don't have an issue with that as well. I'm okay with waiting for the right client to come and work with them. And yeah, like still to this day, I only work with a very few number of clients, and spend more time on personal projects because, like as I told you, like that is what is going to like create my legacy. Like every designer's legacy is made on their personal projects. I believe that.
Yeah, definitely makes so much sense. And what is your creative process, if you have any, right? I mean, one thing, I've of course checked out your profile, and I've noticed that you have like a season of season of pieces which are kind of interrelated. Sometimes it can be
Mm.
architecture, sometimes very dreamy, sometimes it's abstract shapes. So how do you do that? Do you plan, okay, I'm gonna do this way, I'm gonna maybe 10 posts which has architecture in it, or maybe something like that? You consider a number, or a series of posts like that?
Yeah, like I think like every 2 to 3 months I do that because it's funny that you said that you noticed that. I didn't think that anyone could notice it actually. So what is happening there is like every single time like I'm working on one thing to make better. Like it could be texturing, it could be colors, it could be architecture, and like then I say like okay, this is what I want to get good at. I'm going to make a bunch of work that is related to this one thing and get good at it. And only after that will I jump to the next thing. So at one point it was like lighting for me. At another point it was like textures for me. Like how do I mix 3 or 4 textures in a without like making looking overloaded. And then it was like colors. How do I figure out colors? How do I figure out architecture? And right now it's like how do I figure out animation? And that's like for a couple of months that is going to be the theme right now. How do I figure out animation? And
Yeah, yeah. I've
yeah,
been
like
seeing really crazy experiments out there.
yeah. Thanks.
And so how much time do you spend in a day, maybe making these, or learning, or how do you go with it?
Yeah, I would say maybe 8 to 9 hours, like deciding and learning stuff. Like it's I'm like full time learning right now.
So eight
Yeah,
to nine hours, 7 days a week.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Like
that's a
I
hell of a motivation you have, man.
yeah, yeah. It's I really like deciding. Like sitting there and like figuring out things, and at the end of the day, you make something that you are proud of. Like that's really fulfilling.
So you keep a result in your head. Okay, at the end of the day, I should have something on the table, or something like
Mm.
that.
Yeah, like that's I have been doing it for like 2 years, and like that's default right now. Okay, I need to make something today. Like there's no option right now. And like even if I don't make anything, I feel like the day wasn't productive enough for me. Like it's been a habit right now. So yeah, I rather make it.
Yeah, you're addicted
Yeah.
to making visuals. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
like a nice kind of an addiction. But and what about you? You don't go on holidays, or what? You don't take breaks, or you consider yourself a workaholic?
No, like if my friends are like going to hang out, like of course that gets priority number one. Like I'm not going out every single day, so most of the days I'm at home and I'm figuring out design stuff.
So, do you think that COVID also has some role to play with the kind of schedule you made?
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, COVID has the biggest role in it. I would say uh, we didn't have to go to classes for my 2 years, like 1.5 years. Yeah, of my college. Like I didn't have to go to college. It was like online classes, so you could like keep it on and like move it to the side, and you will get attendance. You can do your design stuff in your home. So yeah, it definitely gave me a lot of time to figure this stuff out. Yeah, yeah, that is like a very big factor to it. Yeah, without COVID, I don't know if I would have been a designer. Maybe I would have been an IT guy. Yeah,
And maybe we're looking for jobs and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, and yeah, I've also noticed that you uploaded some of your NFTs, and you managed to also sell them. So how did that happen? You knew you were into the scene, or you had an idea about you wanted to make some NFTs, and how did you manage to sell them?
Yeah. So Yeah, NFTs like it's like a lot of work actually. Like I don't hear many people say about that. Like it's you have to like grind on Twitter like crazy. Like you have to be super active. Like people should know that you exist. So and yeah, I was fortunate enough to sell a couple of NFTs. Uh, yeah, like at that time it was like I was doing graphic design and grid stuff. So I made NFTs based on that. And but like at that time also like I saw that like the 3D stuff was the ones that was getting the most attention and the biggest prices. So like I get that like from a collector perspective, like who doesn't know much about design, like 3D looks more fancy, you know, looks more expensive. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, that time also I was like, okay, maybe 3D is that was also like an confirmation for me. Like, yeah, move into 3D. It's time to get into 3D and yeah, like selling stuff on and selling stuff as NFTs, like basically being super active on Twitter, being creating a community around you, like engaging with other designers, post things like that. I would say like I would spend like 4 or 5 hours on Twitter at that time because at that time I didn't have my laptop. Like it was just Photoshop for me. So at that time I was like, okay, I figured out Photoshop, figured out typography, graphic design. I have nothing else to do. Like right now, that's not the case. I have a lot of stuff to figure out in 3D. So I don't have the time for it right now. That's why there's not there's no 3D stuff as NFTs. Like there's like a bunch of stuff I could make NFTs, but I don't have the time to like go on Twitter and tweet, share stuff less. So to me, like the most return on investment for me is like learning, and that's all I care about right now. Yeah.
Yeah, make sense, man. So I can also see that you collaborated with the NFT Malayali, and you were all of you all made like a really nice noise out there. I saw articles,
Mm.
I saw blogs mentioning the scene there down south. So how did that happen?
Yeah, like NFT Malayali, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, NFT Malayali is it's like I would say the first community I joined with super active community members, like because we are all from Kerala, we like converse in our own mother language, mother tongue. So that was super super free, like talking in your mother tongue. That's a different feeling, right? Like most of the designers I met was like who like I could only converse with them in English. So there are like so like talking with the designers in Malayalam was super cool, and everyone in that group was super supportive, and like there were some big designers in there as well. Like they acted as mentors as well, you know, like designers who had way more experience, and yeah, they would like give us advice, and it was a super cool place to be. And yeah, the community also had a lot of things to do with NFTs as well. Like Melvin was my first collector in Foundation, and like his tweet resulted in another bid. And like that has happened to me like a couple of times. Like a collector would retweet something, and someone seeing that tweet would come and collect my work. So I would say I was lucky a couple of times like that as well. Yeah.
So I mean, I can see that you kind of was successful to sell your NFTs. Why don't you maybe upload some more and bless us with the more of your
Mm.
NFTs out there? I'm sure you will be able to sell it because
Yeah.
it's the first few NFTs that you have to play hard with the making them sell.
Mm.
But once they are sold, I think it's comparatively an easier task, and you also have the community. So what's maybe stopping you to maybe put more NFTs out
Mm.
there?
Yeah, like most of the time when someone collects, it's like for them to resell it, right? Like, so if they want to resell it, I should be active on Twitter. Like, Twitter is the place to be. So, like, even if I sell it to them, and if they intend on flipping it, and I'm not super active on Twitter, it's not great for them, right? Like it's like me, I don't know. It's like me cheating them or something. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like so that's the reason why I don't put NFTs out right now. Like I don't want to be active on Twitter. Like I rather spend figuring out 3D.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense. And you gotta value your time. What you have. If you don't enjoy, maybe shouting on Twitter, why not? Just
Hmm.
upskill yourself. So yeah, definitely, I'm with you on that. Uh, so what are the tips? Maybe like the big pointers you'd like to give us. You'd like to give to the people who are maybe wants to learn 3D or maybe any other creative skill, and maybe some pointers to be constant with them, or maybe the kind of things you were following in your mindset.
Yeah. So like I would say like if you can do every days, you should do every days. Like what I would say is like let's say you go to Behance and you figure out a certain direction you want to go. Like for me, it was like all about composition, abstract shapes, colors, and things like that. Maybe for someone else, it could be something different. Like yeah, you should go to Behance. You should compare your work. Like you should say, okay, is my work average? Is it below average? Is it good? Is it super good? Like you should have that visual meter in your head. Like you should be able to compare your work internationally and like see where you stand. And that is a start. And then what you should be doing is like go to like every individual aspect of it. Like take a good work and like sit there and figure out, okay, why is this good? Like it could be because of the lighting, texturing, composition, things like that. Like I have done that. Like in my initial stages, I was like doing that. I would like take great designers' work who I thought like used color read even, and like I would take a color wheel and I would figure out, okay, is there some kind of pattern they are repeating? Like and some designers do have that pattern, and that was very interesting. Like uses complementary colors, three
Yeah.
complementary colors, and like yeah, every designer has some kind of pattern they repeat. Maybe it might be repeated subconsciously, but there are patterns. So I would say like really sit there and study their work, and then you could be like break down their work again. Like you could go to like lighting. You could compare your work and say, okay, is my lighting as good as their lighting? Then you could like do that with every single aspect of your design, and that's how you learn a lot of things. Like you don't sit there without seeing a lot of work, like saying, okay, I don't want to copy any other's work and like sit there in a bubble and like keep designing it. It's not going to be good. Reverse reverse psychology or something, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I love that part where you mentioned about taking few artwork, taking few designs, and breaking it down into pieces, breaking it down with the lighting and the texturing they have used. And again, as you've said, all of these artists and designers have this thing in common where they kind of use this style more than once. So yeah, I mean, studying that, and kind of recreate in the beginning, and on the way find your own way. That's how I also learned a lot of things too. So yeah, makes so much sense. So Basil, I mean, what are your plans now? I mean, it's already been 2.5 years. How long you're gonna go with this?
To be honest, I don't know, but I'm hoping like I could go for another year as well. Like I'm like completely for like still stay as a freelancer for one more year, learn a lot of stuff, and only then I'm like going to look for a job, basically like in a pretty cool agency somewhere. Yeah, that's the goal right now.
And and what are the milestones you're keeping? You keeping any some milestones? Okay, or maybe I need a
Mm.
number of clients, or maybe the kind of quality you need in terms of the kind of work you want to do. That okay, I have this much clients, this kind of work. maybe I don't need a job? Or is it something you want to do for your own experience, where you want to be associated with an organization?
Yeah, right now the milestones is like just work quality based. Like right now it's like there's like two studios, like Man versus Machine and Tendril, and like I like everything they do. So if I could get to their quality, like that's mission accomplished for me. And like as taking a part of a job, and the reason why I want to like take an agency job is like I haven't been around creatives much. Like I come from a design, not a like engineering degree. So I would like to see how that environment is basically like. Yeah, just experience that environment. That's it. I don't know like will I stick to it or not, but yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, pretty clear. I love, I love how you are, have a idea about all these things you've been doing, considering how young you are. So yeah, I mean, all the best, Basil. I mean, it was an amazing conversation. I mean, I had a lot of, inputs. To take, I'm gonna get back to Blender and maybe start creating myself. So yeah, I wish you all the best, and I wish sometime in the future if we can collaborate in anything.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, sure, we should. And
Yeah.
thanks for having me as well. Like after a lot of rescheduling, we had this meeting at the end. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was great. Yeah.
yeah, that's how it works. All right, Basil, you have a great week ahead.
Thanks, man.